So I know there's the big debates about naming flies and everything else that goes along with that, just because reality is everything's a variation of something else at this point. But you know, if there's a name for this fly out there, I might not know about it, but I just call it my shiner. So this could be Dorothy's shiner. So what we're gonna do is, you can see here, just a great little bug, but we're actually going to start out with a fulling mill 5067 here. Great hook, nice and strong. I just like the bend, and it's size 14, so we're going to throw one of those in there in the vise. So we're doing this fly, which is a little, so we're going to put that in the vise, and then we're going to add in here. I've got myself a 2.4 millimeter countersunk tungsten bead. We're just gonna get this on here, get it in the vise. So there we go. All right, so we're gonna drop that back, and just using 70 denier here, thread in black, and I'm just gonna lay it really close here up to the bead. And you'll see why here in a second. We're going to trim it. I'm going to bring the bead up. So I want that to sit nice and snug with really only a thread's length there. I'm going to bring it back, and we're going to get that snugged down. Okay. So now we're going to take some, so now we're just going to go ahead and take some Glow Bright and number 5. What we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and tie this in here. So what I wanted to do is I want it to sit directly facing me. We're going to just kind of get that there. Even that out. And what I'm going to do is just going to pull it over onto this side. I'm going to just go ahead and wrap it in front. So we want that to sit parallel. We want that to sit in perpendicular, so we can see it here, to the bead, to the hook shank. So now, got 2 nice 90s coming out of there. So I'm going to go ahead and work my thread back just in front of here. I'm going to go ahead and bring that Glow Bright right there, give it a couple wraps, fold it back, and I just like to do this because this helps lock it down, gets it in the right trajectory. I'm going to now do the other side. Pull it over, give it a couple wraps. Same thing. Wants to work with me here. And we're going to go back. And now I'm just going to bring my thread back to this side without covering up any of that Glow Bright. Pull it over so that we're doubling up that length there. Lash it down, do the other side, and get that nice and tight. So as you can see, we've got some nice bright cheeks on that black bead. Just trim off that excess. All right, so what we're gonna do is now we're just gonna whip finish this black thread off because we're done with that. So just give it a quick three wraps on the whip finisher. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that off. And so now, this is where the magic starts to happen. So I'm gonna take some red 70 denier and lay that down. I'm being careful not to put too much because we want these to be as minimal as we can get them. So now what I'm going to do is I've got some black and red wire in the U2C small. You know, I can show you both here in just a second. So we got the red and we've got the black. So keep it back on that fly. So what we're going to do is we're just going to tie both of these in equal lengths. I'm just going to tie it in on the side closest to me here. You see, I'm just going to wrap those in, and then I'm going to work them down the shank here. And I've got my hook pointed up a little bit, and I kind of did that on purpose because I want it to get right down here. I use it as a tying point so I can just have a good observation. But if you tie this in to where the hook is a little more flush, that's what it's going to look like if you don't break your thread. Okay, so my thread broke, so I'm just going to quickly wrap this on, lock in that thread base that was brought down. As you can see, it's unraveling on me. So we're just going to go ahead and bring that all down. I'm not too worried because we're going to make sure everything gets caught up, but I will come in here now. I'm glad that happened because, as you can see, the fly is not always perfect, but we get it as much as we can. All right, so now I'm going to take some Vivis Large in a pearl color. I love the pearl. I use it for most of flies when I want a good color. I know a lot of people love it, but it's going to take the size large. And again, we're just going to tie that in, and then we're going to work this down. So now when I get it to the same point as the wire, I'm going to work my way up, and I just want to make sure I get the entire body that covered in red. I don't want to, as I wrap up, I want to make sure that we're not seeing any of that, and I want to build a good taper to that body, just like that. So now, and I'm just going to, you can use the rotary function if you want. I prefer just to have a little more control, so I'm going to wrap it with my hands. So as I wrap it up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just barely overlap it. Okay, I just want this to just barely overlap, and it might look a little funky. You might leave it in gas, but as you get it and as you tighten them up, it'll all even out. What this is going to do is it's going to give it a great little shine, give it that sheen that's so common with chironomids as they start to move up in the water column and get air in the body. So now we're just going to tie that off if it wants to cooperate with me here. So we're actually going to have to lost it there. So bring it back up, a couple wraps in the front, a couple wraps behind it. That really gets it locked down. But so now what I like to do is just snip the corner and then just pull it off, and it comes right off. Nice and easy. So now what we're going to do, because we've got that red and black wire, and then what I want is I want that black wire to be on top. So we're just going to situate this real quick. And as we start to wrap, we're going to position it so that the black is on top here. So now we're just going to start making some wraps with our wire, counter wrapping. There you go, nice, and keep seeing it. And so we're just working to make sure we keep these wires just touching each other as they wrap up and keeping them even with each other. And as we go up, and then we're going to get it right to the top, and go ahead and tie it off. Again, just a couple in front, and go ahead and helicopter these off. And then we're just going to throw this last little bit on here, and then we're going to whip finish. Just give it a quick 5 turns. And then we're going to go ahead and cut it free. Alright, now that that's cut free, fly looks great, but for just a little bit of durability, we're going to go ahead and just add on some loom flow. And we're just going to do this to And we just want a nice little bit here. See, not very much. Let's go ahead and put that in. And then we're just gonna move it around your back and kind of get it to sit up here on that tie-off point. Work it down the body because we don't want a bulky body. But this is just gonna we're gonna spread it out, get it nice in there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and zap it with our light. Go ahead and get this set. And as you can see here, if I get it on there, that cheek really lights up with that UV light. Really gets it bright. So yeah, we're just gonna get that cured. And there you have it. Just a great, nice little shiner Chironomid. Works wonders.